Um, okay, so Kara, I am so excited to talk to you today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time. I think your story is really important for women to hear, and I'm really excited to hear what is now happening in your life. So, I know we know each other pretty closely for a few years, but if you can just share with us a little bit about your journey, I think really hearing about first, like where you were and why you chose to freeze your eggs, and like how
Absolutely.
old you were, and just a little bit of like the data behind it too is probably helpful.
Definitely. So my name's Kara Egber. I live in Odenton, Maryland, and I'm currently 38 years old. When I was 34, I started thinking about egg freezing. I hadn't had any friends do it, so I was basically the guinea pig for that. But at the time, I was single. I knew I wanted to be a mom one day. I knew I still had time, but I started looking into egg freezing and spoke with my OBGYN at Capital Women's Care. And they said, you still have some time, but if, you want to freeze your eggs, you want to do it by the time you're 36 years old. And it's not like a hard stop at 36. You really can freeze kind of up until you're about 40 years old. I think they might even do 41, 42. But 36 is ideally when you'd want to, because when you freeze your eggs, that's how old the eggs are always. So if I froze my eggs this year, my eggs would be 38 years old forever. So I started inquiring when I was 34, and we did an AMH blood test, the anti-Mullerian hormone. And what it does, just a simple test, just stick you for some blood, tells you your egg reserve. So I did not know this. You're actually born with all your eggs. I thought we were just, here I am, Raydell. I
Right.
just made some more eggs while I'm talking. Oh, there it goes. Like a chicken. so,
That's
um,
awesome.
so the test tells you what your egg reserve is like. And ideally you want it between, I don't remember exactly, I think it's between a 1 or a 2 and a 1 and a 3. Mine was in the 1 range, so it's in a healthy range. And they said, all right, you don't have to do this now, but when you're 36, if you're not trying, we recommend you freeze your eggs.
That's awesome.
So,
So, can you share with us maybe just a little bit how you chose your fertility center and then
yeah,
what made you like, I'm just going to go do this, you know?
definitely. In the area, because like I didn't have any friends going through this, so I didn't know, in the DC area, Dominion's very popular, Shady Grove's very popular. Those are the two that come to mind. I'm sure there's a few more that have popped
Hmm.
up. Shady Grove being the biggest. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I'm probably going to go with Shady Grove. I reached out to my dad's cousin, Dr. Barry Rothman. He's the OBGYN in Alexandria, and he highly recommended Shady Grove and also forwarded, kind of introed me to his really good friend who worked there, Dr. David Saffin, who was my doctor in the process.
That's
So
nice.
I know not everyone has, oh, their dad's cousin knows someone, but even just asking your OBGYN, hey, are there any practices in this area you recommend? Absolutely, they're going to have a list, so it'll give you more, confidence in who you're going to be moving forward with.
Hmm. I love that. And you're right. Not everybody has a good connection. So I think if you
No,
like your OBGYN, sometimes you trust then who they're going to recommend. So,
exactly.
okay. And then I know you and you're, a go-getter and you're a doer, but not everybody knows that. So what do you think made you like, I'm doing it now, like 34? Uh,
Yeah, well, so 34, I started looking at it, and I made the decision then that
yeah.
if 36, I wasn't
Okay.
trying, I would do this. Ideally, that's when they want you to start freezing it. That's a good age to still freeze.
Mm.
So, 36 came around, and, I was like, all right, I'm still not trying. I should look into this now. So I started doing the initial, baseline testing with Shady Grove, or they look at your ovaries. They're also testing your AMH level and, kind of, finding out how much does this cost? Is this the right choice for me? I knew it was the right choice for me going in, but it's very normal to not be sure on the fence. It's obviously a very big investment. Do I want to invest in this? Do I not? What if I do this and meet someone? How I felt about all that, which I felt was very valid, even though in the back of your head you're hoping you'll meet someone to share the journey. I hope that does happen. I hope it happens for me. I hope it happens for anyone considering it. But it doesn't mean that this won't matter in the process. You might meet someone, get pregnant, no problem, and then baby number 2, you can't get pregnant. These eggs would come into play.
Hmm.
Since I have frozen my eggs, I've had a few of my friends freeze their eggs as well, all over the country. And they're like, oh, you know, they only look at it as for baby number one, where I'm like, you might not need the assistance for baby number one. You might be fine with your own eggs at whatever age you are. Look at this as almost a security deposit of more chances for possibly future babies is how to look at it. So, yeah, when I was 36, I decided to embark on the journey. It wasn't hard at all. Yeah. But I was also very sure about it, which I can see is very normal to not be sure.
Yeah, it is for a number of reasons, like you said. But I do really like, that's such a great point about it's not just baby number one. And even if you're with someone, you never know if you still use those eggs. You know, it doesn't matter that you can still do it with someone and use those younger eggs. Like,
right.
You know,
you might need it for in vitro, or you might need a surrogate to carry the embryo. There's so many combinations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cool. So, okay. So you froze your eggs. You're like,
so
how many?
I actually froze my eggs 3 times.
3 times? I forgot that.
3 times. Okay. I was like shooting up for a year.
You were like, I'm in
a safe way.
Right. We're like, yeah, just for the eggs.
I'm like stage shooting up. Ideally, they want you to have around 15 to 16 eggs frozen. On average, and this is not, this will happen for everyone, but on average, they find for every 5 eggs they unthaw and they make an embryo, which means they add sperm to it, and they do genetic testing, 1 to 2 eggs make it. So if you think 15 eggs, you have about 3 tries at in vitro. So the first round, they pulled out 7 eggs, 5 were viable. Second round was the same result, so I was at 10. And then the third round, they pulled out 10 eggs, and 6 were viable. So I had the Sweet 16, and those kids are on ice as we speak. They're chilling.
That is fantastic. And that's really good. Like in 1 year, 16.
16. I froze October 2016. No, first time was August 2016, October 2016, and then February 2017. Actually froze on my birthday, on my 37th birthday.
That's right. I remember that. That's so cool. And then you're like, done, Sweet 16, in the bag.
In the bag.
On
it was
the
kind of
ice.
like, it's a day I was born, but I'm also preserving life. So it's like a cool kind of way to look at it.
A very cool circle.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now that you're 38, there's been some things that have happened. So what has been going on in your social life since then?
Lot going on here. Not shooting up anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
So into that year of me turning 37, so I froze it last time in February.
Yeah.
And throughout that whole time, I was going on dates, was dating people seriously, going on 1 or 2 dates here and there. Towards the end of my 37th year, so this past October, I met this wonderful man named Quentin on the online dating website Hinge. I obviously highly recommend all online dating sites. Gives you more access to individuals you might not cross paths with, but you can meet someone anywhere. So I met Quentin. He was the only Hinge date I went on because I had exhausted all the other dating apps. I dated literally everyone in DC except Donald Trump.
Thank God. But wait, what other apps were you on? Just curious.
I was on, let's see, I was on J-Swipe, because I'm Jewish, because everyone's there if you're Jewish.
Right.
J-Swipe. I did Tinder for a very short amount of time. I wasn't a big fan. I was a big fan of Bumble. I joined the League, which was newer. It wasn't super active yet, so I didn't really get a fair shot at the League. And then Hinge had been around for a very long time. I just wasn't trying it. And then when I was just getting tired of Bumble, and I was also on When Coffee Meets Bagel.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Yes, they're all really good.
Yeah.
There's swiping.
Yeah.
And there's new matches.
Yeah.
Hinge I liked. It was a lot like eHarmony, where it's no swiping. They're really just sending you matches. And I like that it gave a lot of information on the person, their name, did they go to college, do you smoke, do you drink, how tall are you? Where the other apps, they might not fill any information out. You're like, do you have a job?
You're like, is that your real name?
Seriously. So I met Quentin in October, so now I'm 38, like I said. I met him when I was 37. He was 42 years old. He was divorced, no kids, never been married, obviously no kids, and hit it off, and we got engaged in March. So we were engaged 6 months later.
Amazing.
And when we were dating, and I encourage all women to always be very open with your goals in life and you're going on these dates. Don't feel on a first date you can't share, you're looking for marriage and children. People say, oh, it's too much, it's going to scare people away. I disagree. If it's the right person that's also looking for what you're looking for, it's not going to scare them away. And anyone it is scaring away, good, you're not going to waste your time on them. And, life's good with or without marriage, with and without kids, but always be very honest on your dates because your time is valuable too. So early on with Quentin, I talked about, my egg freezing journey and, wanting to have kids and, a partner, not so much, I just want to be a mom. Can you please help me get there?
Right.
But someone that wants to do that as well. And early on in the first month, he shared some information about himself as well, that when he was in his mid-30s, he all of a sudden was just kind of feeling really fatigued through the day. And he's very healthy. He works out. So he had this blood work done. It turned out he had low testosterone. And so for right now, everyone's thinking low testosterone. Does that mean he can't get it up?
Right.
No, not correlated. That was my initial thought. I was like, oh no, I'm this great guy. What happened? Totally went there.
That is awesome.
So what low testosterone does, it really is your energy level. Okay. So his body wasn't producing enough, so that's why he was feeling so fatigued. Okay. So he started getting testosterone shots when he was I think it was 35, 36. Okay. He started taking those. Kind of replaced what his body was not doing. And he told me, this was, last fall, he's like, I've never been tested for it, but supposedly a side effect is low sperm count. So I kind of said, all right, we're not at that point yet. Right. But should things get very serious, right, we'll get you tested. Because I'd been through all the egg stuff. Yeah. Know anything about the sperm stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And you're already, I think it's probably, you're a little more comfortable. Obviously, it's sperm, so you're not as informed, but at least you're not what's a fertility center? You're a little bit more. You've got a doctor maybe you could go to. It probably made it a little bit easier, I would think.
It completely, and I kept telling him, it just takes one, which is true. It really just takes one. So, the relationship kept progressing and we're going ring shopping. So an engagement was imminent. So I was like, all right, why don't we get you tested at Shady Grove? Let's just see where your sperm level's at, and no matter what it is, we have options. So, he went, gave a sample in a cup, and as expected, we were expecting it to come back low. The sperm did come back very low, but what was difficult on top of that, motility, which is how the sperm swims, was so low it didn't even register.
Oh wow!
So that means even you have intercourse with someone, sperm goes in your body, it still needs to swim to the egg.
Yes.
So I'm like, what are we gonna do? Oh my goodness! He would joke. He's like, the sperm's just taking a nap in your body.
It's I'm good here. I'm good.
Take a nap.
That's right. It's just hanging out.
Yeah. And so Dr. Saffin, who throws my eggs with, recommended Dr. Paul Shin, urologist at Shady Grove. He works at a couple locations. We saw him at the DC location. Highly recommend him as well. Yeah. And we met with him, and he said, look, he's like, sperm is low. There's not enough to do IUI, which is when they basically take sperm and just shoot it up in me. It's kind of it's basically sex is what it is. So there wasn't even enough to do that option. Wow. He said there was enough to do in vitro. The one downfall is when they do in vitro, they like to be okay, here's all the sperm from the sample. Let's choose the best ones. They wouldn't have that luxury. They would just choose from what is there. They would just use that. Yeah. So this was January of this year, 2018. So we were not trying yet, but we were getting ready to start trying. So we're we're not ready for in vitro yet. We're just ring shopping now. So engagement is imminent. And people are probably going, God, how do they know all this stuff? When you're older, it just gets there quicker.
Right,
we're old. So we're going to get married and our AARP card the next day. I'm totally fine with it. So we were we're going to try naturally this year. And they said, even though your chances are very low, you still have a chance to get pregnant naturally. Yeah. We're still going to try naturally this year. We did get engaged in March. So we said, all right, we'll try naturally through the wedding, which is the end of September. And if nothing, we'll do in vitro. So we went into it with a game plan. I've never tried to have a child before,
Mm-hmm.
so I also don't know if it's hard for me, you know?
Right.
And I think a lot of couples, when they're trying, they can't get pregnant, and then it's stressful, and then they're going in to get tested. It's a very hard process. With us, we kind of did it the other way. We went into it with a crutch, knowing we had like a 20% chance naturally.
Right.
So, I mean, it wasn't like we were going in like really happy about that.
Right.
But we weren't so stressed.
It
so
wasn't
like we tried a month. Right.
Yes.
That's when I tried month 1. I wasn't distraught when I got my period, or month 2.
Right.
So, Dr. Shin, I had Quentin go off his testosterone shots. Part of the problem with testosterone shots, I mean, they're great for the body. You know, they replace what's not being made, but they trick your brain into thinking, I don't need to make sperm. The testosterone's there. I don't need to process this.
Okay.
So Dr. Shin put him on Clomid, which is actually something they usually put women on.
Yeah.
But there's been tons and tons of tests over the years. It's also safe for men. And what it does for men, it gives the testosterone that's not being made in your body. It equalizes that level, but it doesn't trick your brain into thinking it should stop making sperm. So he's like, look, let's see what happens with Clomid. You know, guys in general, it takes about 3 months to make new sperm, so give this 3 months to kick in. And would you know, month 3.
No way.
You got pregnant naturally.
That is amazing.
I'm pregnant right now.
That is awesome.
I can't even.
You're like...
And even more interesting, when I froze my eggs, with your ovaries, it's normal for one of your ovaries to grow more follicles than the other. And my right ovary grew way more follicles, which they're releasing eggs.
Yes.
Over the left. My left just like every round, 1 or 2 follicles. I got pregnant off my left ovary, which obviously I didn't know. They told me when I asked them. So it goes to show you, it just takes one. The odds were completely against us. Clomid helped Quentin, and we got pregnant off my ovary that made the least amount of eggs.
That's amazing. And that's just like you used to say when we first met. You would say, it only takes one. It only takes one. It only takes one man to come into your life. One date. It only takes one egg, like one moment. Oh, that's incredible.
Everything. And my mom, she was the one that started telling me that. And when I went to Shady Grove, that was like their mantra. And, you know, I'm very grateful that it worked out for us. We only tried for 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many options out there, and it saddens me when women or men are like, oh, it's just not in the cards. I mean, look into the options. It is in the cards for you to be a parent.
Yeah.
You might need assistance, and that's okay.
Right.
Thank God we have these options.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, we have the options. There's nothing wrong with it. And yeah, and we just have to move forward and embrace what's there available to us. And like, look, and all it took is like you being inquisitive, I think, and like Quentin to, you know, go with you and do a few things and have a few conversations, and it's a baby.
And that's it. And having, you know, on top of it, a community as well.
Yeah.
You know, attending meetup groups.
Yes.
Following blogs, you know, and seeing that you're not alone. There's many other individuals, you know, individuals going it solo, you know, hetero couples, same-sex couples, you know, seeing I'm not alone. There's many people going through this in all different types of ways. Yes. You know, when I announced my pregnancy, people were like, did you use your eggs? Did you not use your eggs? Because, you know, we're both advocates for this. Right. And I didn't have to use my eggs, but being a part of communities like the one you have in your meetup groups and reading your blog, it not only helps inspire me and keep me uplifted and making the right decisions, but also helps individuals that are also on the fence not sure.
Yeah.
And it's not to be sure. I know you weren't sure for a long time.
Oh my gosh. Right. It took me 4 years. So now I'm trying to help. And I had someone that worked at Shady Grove Fertility. So it was like I had that insider point of view too. So I really do think that, like, because you and I are such great advocates now having done it, but knowing the struggle to get there, you know, a little bit of weighing everything, there's so many positives being on the other side. So you just don't know, but I think it's so important to have the conversation. So I really appreciate that you shared your story, that you're so honest about how it happened.
Absolutely.
Because I also think people are just like, we're pregnant, but maybe they don't share that backstory of what it took to get there. And so it makes it seem like it's easy, and not that it has to be hard, but that there were just a few other things along the way. So the fact that you're sharing that is huge.
No, it's my pleasure. And, it can happen quickly. It can take a long time, but, the options are there. Take advantage of it. I mean, this stuff started coming out in like the late 70s. That's it. It's been around for a second, but not forever.
Right.
And if these options weren't here, I might not be pregnant right now if Clomid wasn't available.
Right.
It's, we went into it like, we'll try naturally, we'll do fertility options, IUI, in vitro, surrogacy, and if nothing, we would adopt. Mm-hmm. Adoption's also a beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be DNA to be your child. She's raising the child. Mm-hmm. That makes you the parent.
Yes.
And sister. We got very lucky. My due date's New Year's Day.
Well, that's what
New Year's baby.
Oh my God, you are so amazing. I was just gonna say, when's the due date? Oh my gosh.
New Year's Day. New Year's Day. Like when you get the Washington Post, it might be my kid.
I'll be like, toast to Kara. Oh my gosh. Well, that's really, really special. And I think it's just a testament to everything you shared and how wonderful of a person you are. So thank you so much for chatting with us. I appreciate all the words of encouragement too. I think it's going to help anybody that's watching just sort of consider the next thing, the next meetup, the next conversation, talking to their OBGYN, like whatever it is. So
anything, and you're not alone. You're part of the community, and hearing other people's stories and attending the meetup groups and reading the blogs, it's going to better equip you for the information you need to know. And no, you're not alone. You're part of the egg army. It's an excellent place to be.
Excellent. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kara. Best of luck. Your wedding is like days away almost, so.
I can't even. It's September 29th, and then I give birth 3 months later, like full throttle.
What are you doing about that dress? Are you
that's what everyone said. They're like, what's happening with the dress? Yes. So the dress I got, obviously, was not made for a pregnant stomach, at least the one I picked out.
Right.
It was almost like a corset top. So I went to David's Bridal, which I highly recommend.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I am pregnant for the first time. I don't know what I look like pregnant. And how do I go about having a dress for a wedding?
Right.
So they had a big bump that you put around your waist, which was oddly super comfortable. I was like, I just want to wear this. They're like, are you pregnant? I'm like, no, it's just my fake bump from David's Bridal.
Oh my God, that's
you're wearing the bump, and I got a dress where it's tight right under, the breast line, and then it's just flowy. So whatever size I am, it'll fit. I got it like 4 sizes too big, so we can just take it in.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, so you got a new dress, and we're like 8 weeks away. So countdown for that. Feeling good so far in the pregnancy. We're gonna wait to find out the gender till I give birth. So I don't know what I'm having. But symptom free so far. Knock on wood. No morning sickness, no fatigue. It's been really smooth sailing. I've been super grateful. Eating well, working out. I did do all the high risk testing, which I recommend everyone does. I also recommend starting a prenatal vitamin before you start trying, which I was on it, I think a month before we started trying. And, Dr. Saffin at Shady Grove recommended the prenatal I get on, have it higher in folic acid, which I didn't know too much about this end of it. Okay. I was like, I'll get a prenatal vitamin.
Yeah.
Most of them are like 400 to 500 milligrams of folic acid. He wanted me to get one with 1,000.
Oh, wow.
So I found one at GNC. Take these 3 horse pills. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to choke. I can't go out like this. Now, what? I'm like doing my taxes while I pop them.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, that is so fun. And so many great nuggets. We will look for those folic acid pills. 1,000. We'll chat afterwards, after you have your baby, and we get to meet the little nugget.
We don't know if it's a boy or girl. I feel like it's a boy.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Kara, so much for your time and best of luck. Enjoy the wedding.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.